Okie doke. So here we are in C&P Cafe. I'm speaking with Dan Smith, who's running for the 9th Congressional District Congress position in Washington, D.C. And I am going to ask him to talk about a couple of pieces of legislation at the federal level that impact the lives of regular Americans that we need to know about. Okie doke. All right. So go for it. Get yourself positioned.
Hey, I suppose a few, how about PROMESA for starters? It's House Resolution 5278. It is, we've heard in the news, hopefully most of you have heard in the news about Puerto Rico's debt situation and their potential default and how Washington, D.C. is handling it. This House Resolution 5278 is to restructure that debt, but it is an austerity measure that benefits, to a large extent, the hedge fund managers in New York that bought Puerto Rico's debt in the first place and want to get a large fraction or all of that money back. And in the meanwhile, trying to get that money back, Puerto Rico has been forced to drop its minimum wage from $7.25 an hour down to $4.25, I believe. And this type of austerity measure it doesn't work for Greece. It doesn't work for any of us. It is a terrible, terrible idea that only hurts the people of Puerto Rico. And in the end, they're unlikely to get the money back anyway. But any money that is gotten back is to the benefit of the hedge fund managers on Wall Street. I can't deal with that. I can't believe that my opponent actually voted for it, and Bernie Sanders opposes it, by the way. I do too.
All right.
Another example, let's move on with another example. Just this week, the DARK Act, and it's also known as the Monsanto Protection Act. Those are the outside the Beltway names for it. The actual name for this bill is ridiculous. It's House Resolution 1599, the Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act of 2016. And
2015.
Was it 2015?
Yeah,
okay, so it was
year.
Introduced last year. That's correct. We looked it up. I didn't know the name of that Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act, but I had heard all about the Monsanto Protection Act. As I'm reading about it, I find it so offensive. It is I'm messing this up, but
no, it's real, man. It's real.
Hey, it protects Monsanto. It protects the food corporations. When we've got GMO food in our purchased products at the grocery store, this law will make it unlawful. Not only does it not require it, it blocks food makers or states from requiring food makers to label that there is GMO material in their food. This is completely anti-citizen. It's against the people, and it's for big business. There's no two ways about it. One third bill or resolution that my opponent voted for. Full disclosure, he voted correctly against this bill. My opponent did, the Monsanto Protection Act. So it's not him, but it's just demonstrating my views of how important these things are. That's got to be opposed in any way. But the one that he did vote for that was striking and shocking to me was that he voted for allowing the sale of cluster bombs to Saudi Arabia to the tune of, I think it was $700 million, something less than $1 billion worth of cluster bombs to Saudi Arabia that they are using, that they would use and have been using to fight Yemen. And we do a good job as a country as well of spending money or selling weapons to Yemen as well, so that Saudi Arabia and Yemen can be in battle with each other. But the fact that Adam Smith voted to allow that sale of weapons that have been banned internationally in 190 countries, but USA has not, our country has not signed that ban because apparently money can be made, and that's how we churn our economy. That kind of stuff has to stop. It's unethical, it's wrong, and for my opponent to say that it was a mistake for him to vote on that and he did it by accident is when he took $7,500 of money from the manufacturer Textron that makes those cluster bombs. I find it disingenuous.
Yeah, I think what's really brilliant about that example actually is that what you're also doing is illustrating that the federal laws that are passed in the United States of America, they can disenfranchise the American citizens at the state level, and also they can disregard the international consensus and then actually support more violence
Absolutely.
and injury to human beings across the planet. So what the United States does at the federal level matters. And having Dan Smith there and a whole host of what I tend to call Bernie Crat oriented American citizens running for Congress, it is a turning point in the impact that our federal government will have down and up. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you for raising awareness. And you know what? I appreciate actually, I think a lot of our viewers are going to appreciate the sincere and honest outrage that you felt about this act, the Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act. Like, we're going to make sure it's accurate by not giving you information.
The misnomer idea.
Your outrage is important because one of the things that I think a lot of us don't like about the classic entrenched politician who's been around forever is they tend to just sort of like be so calm about everything. And it's almost like either it's detachment or I don't even know how to explain it, but the
everyday business, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. And the reality is that if you're selling cluster bombs, you're selling things that kill people, and maybe you should care about it. Right?
Right, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to come back with another question. Just go sideways on the YouTube channel.